Yeah.
All right, Miss Sandy, you're up for for the recording. So today we're going to have Sandy Collings speak, and she's going to be speaking about and teaching about TDOS, toxicity, deficiency, overweight, and stress, and how individually these things are bad enough, but as a combination, often much worse. And there's going to be so much more about the TDOS syndrome, and so much more all about really how we can improve ourselves. So Sandy, I'm super excited to have you talk. Go for it.
First of all, thank you so much, Stephanie, for having me speak today. And thank you, everybody whom I asked to hop on to support me, and also those that I don't know that are on. I really appreciate it. And everybody listening in. I am not a speaker, so I'm just going to say that right off the bat, but I'm very passionate about what I do and what I have to share about. So my name is Sandy Colling. Like Stephanie just said, I'm originally from Germany. I forgot earlier in the introduction that I do have 2 kids too, but I always forget about those because I'm such an animal person, so it's crazy. But originally from America in 1993, I quickly realized that things weren't the same in my health and in the nutrition, which has now completely shifted. It's a global problem. And my primary reason for really speaking to you today is to educate you about our nutritional deficiency and environmental toxicity. Nobody can deny that we live in a very, very toxic world. And I'm here today to offer you some education around what our environment looks like, but also offer some solutions, because if I'm giving you a problem, I wouldn't be fair to leave you hanging without a solution. So maybe some of you are already eating super healthy, are athletes that are out. And some of you maybe are more sedentary. Is that how you pronounce it? Sedentary, I think that's how you pronounce it. And maybe some of you have kind of been, this global situation that has affected all of us, I think, to some way, shape, or form. And somebody earlier mentioned the mindset piece, right? The mental piece, which is so, so true. And mental stress is the biggest toxin out there. So I'm definitely going to talk about that. So when I moved to America in 1993, I noticed, like I said, some things changing. And fast forward a few years later, I linked arms with a company that really offered a solution to how I was feeling. I wasn't sleeping as well. I wasn't as healthy. The weight was coming on. Didn't have the energy. My brain was foggy, and I just felt I'm doing nothing different. And so I figured there had to be a reason. Well, with the company came along a mentor of mine and now a dear friend who wrote 4 books. And one of them is Why Diets Are Failing Us. And one of them it's the TDOS syndrome and the TDOS solutions. And his name is Peter Greenlaw. And I have learned so much about him and from him over the years. And TDOS, what does TDOS stand for? TDOS stands for toxicity, deficiency, overweight, and stress. And how is that relevant to you? Is because there's not a single person in the entire world that does not suffer from this syndrome. Regardless, and Michelle, who's here, supporting me, she is, like she mentioned earlier, she grows and raises everything she consumes, and super healthy, super organic eater. But there's a problem. The problem is that nutritional deficiency is, and I'm not going to go into too much scientific data because we just don't have time for it, but our soils are minerally stripped. We don't have the nutrients that we need when we're not getting them through our everyday food. And unfortunately, and these are statistics, and I'm not very good with remembering numbers, but I've seen the statistics, especially with this pandemic that we're in. People are reaching more for fast food and for quicker eating and for maybe not so healthy. And I always call them, you know, they're food-like. I was going to say something else, but it's maybe not appropriate. It's food-like. It's not food anymore. And when you look at a label and there's all these food colorings and food dyes and all this toxic stuff in it that the body has no idea what to do with it. So there's, you know, there's the bankrupt nutrition. And just one study was, and I think it's from the 50s, where they took a bowl of spinach from the 50s and rehydrated it to get the same amount of nutrients today. You have to eat, and normally I have people guess, but 36 to 56 bowl of spinach to get the same amount of nutrients that we did in the 50s. Apples, same thing. It's, I think, 7 or 8 apples. And I could go on and on and on. I mean, this is not something that, you know, we preach through the company. This is something that you can research. And I actually ask you to research all this. Don't believe a word I say, you know, do your own due diligence, do your research, because this is truly relevant to each and every one out there. Because like I said, TDOS, toxicity, deficiency, overweight, and stress individually are pretty crucial, but when they're combined, all 4 of them, they can be deadly, and we all suffer. So that's, you know, the bankrupt nutrition. And like I said, I could go on and on, but I you know, I don't, for time reasons, I'm not going to, you know, go into too much detail. Toxicity, not just in our food, which is food-like, and then of course there's the herbicides, pesticides, and insecticides. And going back real quick to the bankrupt nutrition, even if you eat 100% organically, you're getting less herbicides, pesticides, and insecticides, but you're definitely not getting the nutrients you need. There is no difference, and this is scientific proof, in the nutrient density between organic and inorganic food. Yes, you're getting less chemicals, but then again, a dust cropper can't distinguish between an inorganic and an organic field. So the bankrupt nutrition kind of folds into the toxicity. So there's our toxic food. And of course, all the additives that are in our food supply, and the corn syrup, and all the additives. There's 3,000, I think the number's 3,000 additives in our food, and only 300 have been tested. 3,000 additives in our food, and only 300 have been tested. A lot of what we consume is literally a chemical concoction. It is nothing to do with food anymore. And then, of course, our water. Our water, I mean, they show signs of Prozac and birth control pills, and you name the medication, and even if we get filtered water, it's still in there. And we shower, even if we buy water at, you know, clean water, we take a shower. If we don't have a whole house filtration system, the skin is our largest organ, and it's absorbing all those toxins. And then our air. And Michelle taught me this, that there are certain days when the air pollution in China is really bad, that we're actually getting the pollution from China. And of course, if you live in a bigger city, but even up in Montana where Michelle lives, up in the beautiful, in the beautiful area in Montana, we're still being exposed to toxins, and going out and walking your dogs. I mean, it's everywhere. So food, air, water, is the epidemic, overweight. And a lot of the overweight is not necessarily just because we're consuming our food. Food is food, like I said, and the body doesn't know how to handle the toxins that are entered into our food. So you eat a Pop-Tart, and somebody just mentioned this earlier, that they had a Pop-Tart, or you drink, you know, anything diet, which I call, pardon my French, chemical SHIT storms, because it's truly a chemical concoction. And the diet, you know, the sucralose and all the artificial sweeteners, the body does not know what to do with them. So the body produces what we call obesogens. And this is the thing. I ask you, Google this. The body produces obesogens to wrap around the toxins to protect your organs from the toxins. And you can diet and exercise all day long. You're not going to out-train your fork. It's 90% nutrition and 10% exercise. We've all been to a gym or seen people who every day they're at the gym, and nothing changes. Is because, and I'm not saying don't exercise. Absolutely, it's very important to have our, for muscle muscle building, so we don't get sarcopenia. You do want to exercise and for cardiovascular health. But if you have weight loss goals, or if you have health goals, and this is about ridding your of the talk, Olympic level athletes that use this program too, because they're even more taught. And the obesity epidemic in America is huge. And I don't want to say just America, because it has become a global problem. 2/3 of America is overweight. So toxicity, deficiency, overweight, and stress. And like I said,